Aloha, everybody. Welcome back. I know I haven't been as consistent lately, but I've been really busy. Been trying to set up some interviews. I did an interview yesterday. I got an interview tomorrow. Got a couple more interviews coming up next few days. Also been doing a lot of paperwork. Getting ready for the Green Party run. Got to do certain things, signing up for stuff. But a lot of the interviews, I've been doing a lot of emailing, a lot of back and forth, because that actually takes a lot of time. But today we are going to talk about. Ooh, let's see. Let's go here. It says grow a effing spine, Dems revolt and demand resistance. So as you know, you can't beat the oligarchy without taking on the duopoly. You can't beat the oligarchy through the oligarchy. The Democrats are not the way to do it. But it's kind of funny, grow effing spine, coming from Dem Shady here. Dem and them, who is just a Democratic sycophant. It doesn't really matter who's running. He's going to love them whether or not they're on the far, far right or center right. But just because they're Dem, because they're blue, his tongue is blue, he's going to love on them. Now, Kat Abughazaleh, they call her Abu Gazal, but I thought I heard her pronounce it Abughazaleh, so I'm not exactly sure. But people keep calling her Abu Gazal to her face, and she doesn't correct them. So it might be Abu Gazal, it might be Abughazaleh, I'm not sure. I actually talked to one. I didn't talk to him. I emailed with one of her peoples, and I might get an email or get an interview with her. Hopefully I do. I'm trying. I was honest with them and told them I was from the Green Party, and I don't know if they're gonna get back to me now. But let's see what Kat has to say to Eminem and Krystal Ball.
Welcome, Kat Abu Gazal. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So excited to see you jumping into this race against Democrat member of Congress, Jan Schakowsky. Although, am I correct? She hasn't actually said she's running for re-election yet. It's a little up in the air. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm the only candidate announced in this race right now.
Okay,
Okay,
there you go.
nice.
All right. So we got all kinds.
And see, how nice would it be if she announced for the Green Party, being the only candidate and being a great candidate at that, she'd win. But if you get a corporate or regular Democrat running against a good Green Party candidate where you don't have a lot of candidates running or only one candidate running, then hey.
Kinds of questions for you about why you jumped in and what your plan is, etc. But first, let's give people a taste of what you were bringing to the campaign trail. Here is Kat's intro video.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are dismantling.
We covered her intro video here.
And
I'll leave a link to that if you want to watch
I'm running
it.
for Congress
Oh, so
because
there
it's
she
time
goes.
for
She did say,
Democrats
okay.
than actually winning. It's time to challenge the status quo, and if our leaders won't do it, we will. I'm Kat Abughazaleh, and I'm
Abu
running for
Gazal,
Congress
there it
because
is, solved.
it's time for Democrats to do more.
I guess I seen somebody else call her
time
Abu
for
Gazal
Democrats to
again.
do more. I think
Abu
one of the
Gazal.
things that has been so different about the Democratic base response this time versus first Trump administration is at that time the Democratic Party leadership seemed to care that there was an authoritarian in government. They were aggressively challenging him. You know, I had issues with like some of the particular ways they did it, but at least it seemed like they were fighting. And the base felt like, you know, people like Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and MSNBC were really on their side and that they were all on a single team. This time, according to the polling and according to a lot of what we've seen, it's very different with the Democratic base. They feel betrayed by some of their favorite media hosts. They feel betrayed by a lot of Democratic leadership. They feel like they are not meeting the moment.
The Democratic base has been betrayed since 2008. Barack running on that hope and change and universal health care and doing nothing. And then Bernie Sanders, you know I sound like a broken record, but Bernie Sanders' base got betrayed. The Democratic Party has been betraying the people since that's what they do. That's what the party is.
Whatsoever. So I'd love to, you know, hear your thoughts on that, and also just what has the reaction been to that launch video? Because I think you hit so many points that are key sources of frustration among just like normie Dem voters.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're all sick of it. People are angry. I mean, that's kind of why I ran, because I just got sick of hoping that someone would do something, and it's really comforting to think that there's like some figure that's going to come in and save all of us. But we're not in a movie, you know. We are what we've got, and I have ideas.
Exactly. That's what I keep saying. The Green Party is a people-powered party. We need you, the people, to come power our party so we can represent you. The Democrats are a corporate party. They will not represent you no matter if you vote for them or not. You can get all that Bernie momentum, energy, and you put it into the Democratic Party, and you see what happens. You get Hillary Clinton, you get Joe Biden, you get Kamala Harris. Now, down ballot, you might get a couple of Abu Ghazalehs, but They're going to push her out just like they did Cory Booker, or they're going to change her just like they did AOC. She's going to be either be calling Nancy Pelosi Mama Bear in a couple years, or she's going to be kicked out the party. Why not take this energy to a party that wants you, that will help, that will foster the energy that you bring, and try to grow it and let you be a leader of the party, not kick you out. But watch, if she does what she's talking about, the Dems will just kick her out.
How we can do politics differently, and so I'm running for office. And the response has reflected exactly what I have been feeling. People have been really excited. We raised over $400,000 in our first 2 weeks. We have over 11,000 different individual contributors. We're taking zero corporate cash. Our average donation is about $33, and we have over 1,000 volunteer signups. Our volunteer Discord is bumping. It's great. Even people that, when I'm out in the community, for example, at the Hands Off rally in Algonquin, which is in the more western part of the district, about like 50 miles west, it was redistricted in 2022. So it's like a very gerrymandered district. When I talked to people and introduced myself, and I asked what they cared about and why they were out there, and they asked why I was running, and I would say, because I don't think Democrats are doing enough. And I didn't talk to a single...
If you don't think Democrats are doing enough, why not join the party that's trying to do enough but just needs people in it? The Democrats have plenty of people, plenty of power, plenty of money. They got plenty of everything they need to do the most. They're doing what they want to do.
Single person that voted either Trump or Harris in the last election that didn't feel reassured by that. Every single person that was out there in a traditionally red district out in McHenry County was pissed off and ready for new leadership.
I mean, it really validates the theory, and I've mentioned this before too, that like the selling point of saying I don't have any consultants, I don't have anybody telling me what I should believe or what I should say in order to get the reaction from the crowd. I mean, this really validates that theory.
It's kind of though, like when they were talking, if you paid attention to people like this, say 7-10 years ago, they were talking about how corporate media, they don't tell you what to say, but you don't really get up the ranks unless you're saying what they want you to say. So it's the same with the Democratic Party. They may or may not tell you exactly what to say, but you ain't gonna get the Chuck Schumer status, Nancy Pelosi status, unless you fall in line with the corporate ideal, right? So, I mean, if she moves up in the party, she's gonna move away from us. If she stays with us, the people, the party's gonna get rid of her. You got this momentum. Bring it to the Green Party. Bring it to a party that will keep you, that will want you to be a leader.
The fact that you've raised $400,000 from 11,000 different small donors,
That's
and
incredible.
There's no corporate money and no robber baron money, like that's a really refreshing thing. So so the people's reaction has been great. How has the media's reaction been? I know you were on CNN for one segment, you were on Eamon's show on MSNBC for another. Do you get the sense that even just that disposition is now leading to more interest and intrigue in the fact that you're running and how you're running?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are other candidates that have announced this month that are talking about this, and they have been on other shows as well. And I think that this is kind of becoming the consensus of Democratic voters, and some media companies are catching up on that and some aren't. But I think
it's the consensus of Democratic voters, but not the Democratic Party, not the Democratic elite or establishment. The voters, they don't care what the voters want. They don't give you nothing and you still vote for them. They will never give you nothing and you will still vote for them. The Green Party will give you something. Come vote for us.
It's not just about resisting Trump and resisting the far
That's
right,
all it's
which
about.
is my specialty
Orange man bad.
as a researcher and reporter on the far right.
But see, it'd be so good if you're a researcher, reporter on the far right and liberals, all the right. Don't just do the far right. Once you break the center line and you're on the right, you're pretty much far right. Like you're good. It's a funnel. If you're a liberal and you're just a center conservative, like AOC calls it, but a liberal Democrat, you are just helping the Trumps. You are helping the Republicans. What did Hillary Clinton do? She cheated the furthest left person that's ever been in the or maybe not ever, but the furthest left person that's been in the Democratic Party in a long time, Bernie Sanders, and she helped Donald Trump create his movement. She helped with her Pied Piper strategy. The Democrats, Hillary Clinton, these center-right people, to me, they're pretty far-right themselves. That you say that you study far-right stuff, Maybe you should study the whole right so you understand the whole thing that they're doing. Because just the small section of it isn't the whole pie. You're just looking at a piece of the pie and you don't understand the whole flavor, all the pieces. I don't know, weird analogy. But do not just looking at the far right and acting like liberals aren't part of that. Don't feed that. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, they told us, they told you, listen, look back. Liberals are the worst. They are the foxes that bare their teeth, looks like a smile, and we try to trust them and believe them, but they still bite us. They still eat us. The fox or the wolf, the Republican is a wolf. When they growl, we know it's a growl. It doesn't look like a smile. When the liberals, when the Democrats, they talk all this stuff, but then they pass the crime bill, they pass a health care bill that Mitt Romney couldn't pass, the right couldn't pass, but Obama can pass, and it fines you when you can't afford health insurance. The Democrats are the reason the Republicans do the things they do, can do the things they do. It's just, please, if all you look at is the far right, look at the whole right. In fact, look across the spectrum. But acting like the far right is different than the Democratic Party, they're both corporate parties, they both serve the same masters, they're both really far right.
I've been doing all this work on the far right, my video explainers, which have reached millions of people over the last few years. But it's not just about that. It's not just about the authoritarian emergency. Democrats have been screwing up for a long time. They've had this is the party that got the New Deal and the Civil Rights Act. And instead, over the past few decades, they've been serving this watered down corporatist vision. And people don't.
And the New Deal didn't help black people. And the Civil Rights Act, LBJ even said, oh, we'll have them N-words voting for us for the next 70 years now or whatever. They really didn't care to help us. They cared to get our vote. So, I mean, the two things that she did point out didn't help people across the board. The New Deal helped white people mostly. And then the Civil Rights Act did help us a lot, but didn't do what it was supposed to do. And they did it mostly for the votes, knowing that the elite stay the elite, and we're really not going to mess with their ability to do stuff.
Don't want that. They want something bold, something that actually cares about them and not just
that would be
money
the Green
donors.
Party.
One of my top issues is labeled basic existence, and it's the idea that you should be able to afford housing, healthcare, and groceries with money left
Democrats don't believe this.
over, both to
With
save
money left
and
over.
to spend. And that should.
Joe Biden had the ability to raise minimum wage. They talked about UBI when Bernie was running. Joe Biden could have maybe talked about that, done something with that. He talked about how he didn't care about how millennials were struggling. Barack Obama could have passed universal health care. Or UBI wasn't really on the ticket back then, but at least universal health care. He could have hired the minimum wage. The minimum wage hasn't been raised since George Bush. A Republican raised the minimum wage last. So Democrats talk a game, and I don't even think it's a good game anymore, but they don't do anything. So if you want something done, don't vote for the Democrats. If you want something done, the Republicans will get shit done. You may not like what they get done, but the Democrats don't get much. Oh, I guess they get the crime bill done and things like that too. So yeah, anything the corporate parties get done isn't going to be that good for you. We need to go outside of that. Green Party, if you're on the right, go Libertarian, either way. But this whole Democrat or Republican, it's not going to help you.
Shouldn't be a radical idea, but it is in this country right now. And that's existence. And it's the idea that you should be able to afford housing, healthcare, and groceries with money left over, both to save and to spend. And that shouldn't be a radical idea.
But the Dems make it so.
Is in this country right now. And that should be the lowest bar we have.
So, Jan Schakowsky.
Why would you run with the Democrats if you believe this? Do you truly believe this? If you truly believe this, you need to come to the Green Party, go to DSA. Help me bring DSA and the Green Party together. But there's no way you're going to do anything in the Democratic Party if these are your true beliefs.
She's a Democrat, she's a current representative of the district, and she's, not where we all are, but she's a pretty solid, progressive.
Where we all are. Krystal Ball, vote blue no matter who. You are so far right. Are you serious where we all are? Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know if Kat Abughazaleh is really as far left as she seems, but, I guess if she's talking about Dem Shady over, then they're... How's the lady not where you guys are? She's right there.
Vote, I believe she supports
So
Medicare for All, Green New Deal. What is your view of her and her representation of the seat. And if she does get in, I think she hasn't decided whether she's going to run for re-election or not. What are some of the things that you would challenge her on?
So this wasn't a referendum on Jan Schakowsky in particular. Schakowsky has been one of the most progressive members of Congress for her whole career.
Okay.
She has fought for a lot of things that you and I care about, and she has been doing it consistently. I mean, she stood against the Iraq War when it was happening. But this is a district that has been represented by two people since 1965. And it
Wow.
hasn't had a competitive primary since 1998 when Schakowsky first won, about 5 months before I was born. A lot of people bring up her age. She's 80.
So what would you do different than Joe Biden? Kamala Harris answer, nothing. What would you, what did she say, like, go against her on or whatever, differentiate yourself on from her? Nothing. So it kind of sounds a bit like the standard Democrat, but hopefully we'll see.
This is, I believe, her 14th, 15th term. I'm not sure it's necessarily about the age thing, as it is that a lot of our members of Congress, they are older. They just don't share the experiences that many of their constituents have, and that's not their fault. The average age of Congress is 58, and the average American is 38. And it's not your fault that you age. All of us do. But most of our members of Congress didn't have school shooter drills growing up. Many of their children didn't either. They don't know, they haven't worried about out-of-pocket medical costs in decades. They own their homes. And these are things that if you don't experience them, or you aren't close and consistently talking with and immersed in communities that experience this, it becomes more of a statistic and less of a matter of governance. Schakowsky has done a lot of votes. There are some that I would have done differently, especially in the past 2 years. But a lot of votes that I do agree with. But I would say her role in leadership, our Democratic leaders, if they're doing the votes, that's great. But they also need to be holding their colleagues accountable. They need to be pushing for a vision beyond just their individual self.
The Democratic leadership pushes for corporations and themselves. They push people like Cori Bush, Nina Turner out of the party. If you are who you say you are, they're going to push you out of the party too. It doesn't make any sense. If you are who you say you are, you need to come to the Green Party. There is no point in being in the Democratic Party talking like this. They will not have you.
But this is about wanting to do something different, because what the Democratic Party is doing isn't working. And I very much respect Schakowsky's record. I just think we need to do something new.
To your point, there was actually a
We do need to do something new. The Democratic Party is not new.
pretty big story that came out recently. There were two Democrats that died in office. One of them was Raul Grijalva, who was actually a pretty good member of Congress. There's one other who I'm blanking on at the moment. But the Republican reaction to that has been to push the special elections as far out as humanly possible, giving Mike Johnson more wiggle room to get Trump's agenda through. And so I get the sense that on the Democratic side, there's this idea of like, we have a hierarchy, we have seniority, we have rules. When it's your turn, it's your turn. And then on the Republican side, it's like, hey, can you get eyeballs on you? Can you make the most noise? Can you push our agenda? And if you can, then you get put to the front of the line.
And so he's going to tell you to stay with the Democrats and their little hierarchy thing and wait in line stuff.
And you get to be like the face of the party.
That's why they call him Dem Shady, yo.
Lauren Boebert is, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all these people are. And so, certainly the way I see it, I assume you agree, but like, is it time for Democrats to drop the civility, decorum, bipartisanship, hierarchy, it's your turn approach, the rules-based approach, and to be more like in it for the fight, in it because values matter and the policies matter, and we got to win on this, so by any means necessary, and that means some new people
Don't
might be
use
taking
Malcolm.
leadership positions, and that would be better.
So no, it's not time for them to do that because they're not going to do none of that. And don't use Malcolm X, you liberal. Malcolm X warned us about you. You are the person he warned us about, Dem Shady. It's gross that you used his words to talk about the Democrats doing something positive for anyone. It's disgusting that you would say that.
Oh my God, 100%. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
Oh, we're gonna change the Democrats. You
Running
ain't
for
changing
office
shit.
is so inaccessible to the vast majority of Americans. That's why I'm doing a video series of what it's like to run for Congress. This is the paperwork you need to file. These are the steps you need to take. When our
It is
FEC
time
report
consuming.
comes out later this month, I'm going to be going line item by line item of what it costs to set up a campaign, because people don't run unless they're anointed. There's this stigma against primaries that we have now, and I personally find that stigma disgusting. We need to be
Right. Let's get rid of the stigma of the Green Party, running for the Green Party, being in the Green Party doing stuff, because all we have is the Democrats and Republicans giving us the same old BS. It's, if you want something different, do something different. Doing the same thing over and over and over, they call that something. I forget what it is. If you expect a different result, but you keep doing the same thing.
encouraging dissent and criticism in the party. Otherwise, it's just a party of yes men. And sorry, my cat is mad at me because I'm not giving her attention. She's
We have a bunch
We're
of them
cat
too.
lovers,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have a bunch of them too.
But like, this decorum is part of the reason we're here in the first place. When Al Green stood up to Trump, and then him and the 10 others that walked out were lectured by Hakeem Jeffries.
Crazy.
Al Green was censured by members in the party.
Crazy.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing? We're not playing here. You spent the last 8 years talking about how Trump is a threat to democracy, because he is. I agree with you on that.
Yep.
I agree that he wants
The duopoly is a threat to democracy. The Democrats helped Trump get in. Again, Hillary Clinton and her Pied Piper. Look it up. Hillary Clinton's Pied Piper, not philosophy, but plan or whatever. They cheated Bernie Sanders because they don't want left-wing people. They don't want progressives. They don't want the people power. They helped Donald Trump because they thought he was a joke. But now they call him a fascist. The reason he's in power is because the Democratic Party. Why are you acting like you don't know this? And why are you pumping up the party that put Donald Trump in power?
to be a despot. I did a 1-hour explainer on white Christian nationalism, the history of it, and its ties to Project 2025. Like, I am very equipped on this. I agree. But now you're
These
acting
people.
like, well, we can work together. Well, we
Right.
can all wear pink outfits. No, it's ridiculous. Anyone who has an idea of how they want to do politics differently should be able to run for office. And
I agree with that, but
I'm lucky because I have a large platform, but I have
Democratic
4
Party.
digits in my bank account. I don't have medical insurance. This should be something that anyone can do, and that's part of the problem. Half of Congress are millionaires.
Yeah, that's right.
They're out of
so that's what the Green Party's trying to do. We're going around now trying to get regular people to run. I've been talking to a lot of people, and that's some of the stuff that I've been doing, not making as many videos, but actually talking to people. Some relatives, some friends, and some people that I don't actually know. And trying to build the Green Party and trying to build it with actual people who normally couldn't afford to run, but trying to find ways, see if any money that I can bring in, I'm going to try to help other people run. But like doing these YouTube shows, doing these YouTube channels, trying to get us on there where we don't have to pay for advertising as much. And when I get on the show, I'm going to try to get other Greens on the show and have the Greens do the same. When you get on the show, try to get me and other Greens on the show. And we do stuff together. But we got to do it outside of this. The Democratic Party is not the way, like she's saying, all millionaires, billionaires, whatever millionaires be running. Because they got the money. You got to have money to run. It takes time. It takes effort. And so I'm trying to convince regular people that we got the time, that we got the ability to do this and get it outside the Democratic Party. Because, again, the Democratic Party is the reason that we can't do this.
medical insurance. This should be
Like, the
something
Democratic
that
Party is
anyone-
supposed to be the party of the people, right? If they were the party of the people, they would help us run. They would help us do the things that I'm trying to do with the Green Party, that the Green Party tries to do with us. But I'm just going to try to blow it up. I'm trying to make it bigger. Like, I'm sure we've all been trying to do that before. But, hey, I see how hard it is. I see all these people telling me, the Green Party, I'm just go to the Democrats. Nah, it ain't going to work that way. So let's do it the right way. If you build the right party, if you build the party with the right politics, then we don't have to try to change a party that can't be changed.
One can do, and that's part of the problem. Half of Congress are millionaires.
Yeah, that's right.
They're out of touch, and by punishing people who cut in line, so to speak, it's so short-sighted. It doesn't see what Americans really want. Every single major political figure in America since 2000 has been someone who cut in line, who said, I have a vision that's different. I want to talk to people like they're people. And red, blue, for better or for worse, it's worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and
they-
let me tell you, Republicans, they don't operate that way. They
Not
see
at all.
someone who's talented with promise,
Right.
man, they stick them in at a think tank. They're giving them some sort of, I mean, they have way more money on their side to like bankroll young and promising people.
Well, Kamala brought in $2 billion in like 3 months. The Democrats have a lot of money too. They got George Soros and a lot of billionaires too. Don't be acting like that, Krystal Ball. You know better than that.
But
They
they
go with what
also,
works.
and they also understand the attention economy. I mean, they
Yeah.
understand
Right.
that that's so much more valuable at this point than anything else. So, you know,
The attention economy, that's what I'm talking about, trying with the Green Party. Like, we don't need a lot of money. We need a lot of attention.
the Democratic Party should recognize what an asset they really have in you.
Yeah, and
The Green Party would come over here, be an asset with us. We'll make you a leader of the party.
we also say, to the Al Green point, these people really, the Democrats really fetishize process over morality, right?
Yeah.
It's like West Wing brain. They think,
Process over morality. Are you serious? Green Party ain't nothing about that. We all about morality, anti-war, all that good stuff. Process over morality. This is the party they're telling you to be a part of. What is wrong with these people?
Oh,
the
yeah.
process in and of itself is glorious. And it's like, well, what if the process leads to you losing 72 out of 72 policy
What if the
battles?
process
It's
leads
like-
to an authoritarian fascist
it's like-
taking over our government
What
and
if the
selling it off
process
to
used
the
to
richest
endorse
man?
segregation and slavery? Like maybe
Exactly.
we need to change
Exactly.
the process. If things
Exactly.
have always been this.
That's kind of a bad thing to bring up because the Republicans are the third party that beat slavery. If you want if you want a party to beat the oligarchy, it's going to be a third party to beat this duopoly. There was a duopoly before, the Whigs and the Democrats. They were all slaveholders and all cool with it. It took the Republicans to make a third party to end slavery. If you want to, or at least to change it and put it to jails and make slavery in the 13th and 14th Amendment to people who break the law, but black people are just always breaking the law because they just make laws against vagrants, and black people don't have houses at that time, so they're all vagrants, so they all go to jail and get to be slaves again. But anyway, if you want to break this oligarchy, this duopoly, if you want to break what the moment is now, if you want the next civil rights movement, you want the next end of slavery movement, it's going to be through a third party. It's not going to be through the Democrats.
This way. This is how they always work. If we actually abided by that, we wouldn't have a system of writing. We'd be living in caves, and I don't know, maybe that'd be better.
You know, I'm feeling a
But
little
yeah, no, we need to
anti-modernity lately
change
too.
things.
Yeah.
Kat, one of the things, one of the things I wanted to get from you, which is in line with this, is there's been this sort of debate about like, well, do we call him a fascist and do we lean into that?
Isn't that
Or do
debate
we
over
talk
now?
do we talk about, you know, economic populism?
Is Trump a fascist? Yes. Is Joe Biden a fascist? Yes. They're both fascists. When the corporations control the government, that's what fascism is. They are both controlled by the same people, by the same corporations, and to act like they're different, just Donald Trump has no filter and he just says crazy stuff and just says what's happening. Joe Biden, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Joe Biden wrote the crime bill and said you're going to jail for 5 or whatever years if you have the size of crack that's a quarter, I think it was. His son weighed out over 20 grams of crack on a scale, had it on film with a prostitute, and he said, "Oh, I'm not gonna." He gave his son a pardon. This is fascism. Either both of those two parties, they do the same thing. They work together. They help each other out. Hillary Clinton, again, is why Donald Trump is our president. Both fascists.
And Medicare for all and like a living wage. And I feel like one of the things that you
Where
have
are you
really
talking- hold on, what
this
is-
sort of debate about like, well, do we call him a fascist and do we lean into that?
Isn't that
or
debate
do we
over
talk
now?
about do we talk about, you know, economic populism and Medicare for all and like a living wage and
Oh, do we just talk about it? Democrats, oh yeah, they'll surely talk about it. They've been talking about it. They're not going to do nothing about it.
I feel like one of the things that you have
Talking
really
heads
understood
here.
deeply from your work as a researcher and analyst is like, you know, these things go together.
Man, I wish you would have researched the Democratic Party along with the far right so you would know how bad they are too. You missed out on so much research. You just narrowed it too much.
It's not an either or
Exactly.
kind of a situation. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that because I think that's a really unique, like you have a depth of knowledge on that that's really important and really unique.
Yeah, and you're like the only person to really distill that and ask me about it since I launched, so thank you. It's people fear is like a very potent human reaction. It is the thing at the very core of.
And that is the only reason that you're in the Democratic Party, right? Is because you fear that the Green Party doesn't have enough and that it won't be able to win. So you're gonna try to change the party. You know you can't change. If you're really like when I went to that hands-off march, everybody, or not everybody, but so many people were scared about the Green Party and just, oh, now's not the time. Trump is so bad. We got to Democrat this. We got to Democrat that. It was crazy. It was nuts. To talk about fear, that is the exact reason people are still with the Democrats. Anybody who wants a higher minimum wage, who wants universal health care, any of the things that Krystal Ball was just talking about, the only reason that they would be the Democrats is because they're scared. They know the Democrats aren't going to give it to them, but they know the Democrats won't kill them as fast as the Republicans.
Of our brainstem and authoritarian human reaction. It is the thing at the very core of our brainstem, and authoritarians exploit that. When things get worse, and oftentimes authoritarians will try to make things worse first, and I guess then make them even worse. But when things get worse, people want something to depend on, and there's no real easy, sexy, one-step solution to any systemic issue, but people like Trump pretend there is. And so by acknowledging people's problems and then giving any solution rather than essentially like gaslighting and saying everything's fine, he's gotten a lot of support that way. And the thing is that when people are scared, when their material needs aren't being met, it's a lot easier to get them to believe in conspiracy theories. It's a lot easier to get them to hate. It's a lot easier to make them believe things they would never have believed if they didn't have to worry.
And it's a lot easier to keep them stuck in the duopoly where they're scared to go anywhere else. I have all these left-wing and progressive ideas, but the Democrats are the only way that I might get voted in, so I got to be there where I know they won't let me use my ideas, where I could go to a place that is already has your ideas and would love to have you and love to push you and help you be a leader. It's just sad to see any of these progressives, I think Abu Gazal is a progressive. I know Dem Shady and Krystal Ball, they're not. They're pretty liberal. They're solidly Democratic liberal. But Kat seems like she's on the left, and it really makes me sad to see her disheartened to the Democrats. It's going to be nowhere in 10 years. It's not going to be anything. This whole conversation that she's having, if she's a Democrat in 10 years and in the party, she'll be speaking way different, or she won't be in the party, she's speaking the same.
About one $500 emergency expense. I mean, you guys know this, but it's not.
And we were talking about that before, so they cut it off there. We were talking about that before, the $500 expense. That was a thing that Jimmy Dore was talking about, that we knew about before Biden got in, right? I think we knew about it before Obama got in. But Obama knew about universal health care. Biden knew about universal basic income. The Democrats could have done a lot. They choose not to because they don't want to. They want to keep their corporate masters, their stock shareholders, pockets fat, not caring about us. Donald Trump is no different than any Democrat. No Democrat is really different than any Republican. The Green Party is far different. Libertarians are a little bit different. They kind of, fiscally, they're not a whole lot different. But, I mean, I guess when it comes to certain things, they're not a whole lot different. They are different. But when it comes to you want something different, you want something better, you want something for the people, look at the Green Party. Come to the Green Party. We're a people-powered party. We need you to power us. Call Kat Abu Gazal. Call Jose Vega, call anybody that's running or any artist that's left-wing. On my website, I have a section of left-wing people or people who try to help the communities that I want people to contact and talk about the Green Party, ask them to become part of the Green Party, ask them to help the Green Party. Artists, write music for the Green Party, do something, hold an event for the Green Party so that we can get our candidates out there. But again, check out the site. I'll leave a link below. Go on there, get involved. Even if you don't want to run, get involved. Join the Green Party and then get on these links that I got on my site and just talk to people. Talk about the Green Party and let them know if you want to get rid of the oligarchy, we got to break the duopoly. And the more people from that know across the spectrum, the sooner and more we can get done.